Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Carlene plus
Jamie.
Yes. We hope that you all have enjoyed or had a blessed week. We're so grateful that you have decided to join us for yet another episode of Carlene plus Jamie. We hope that if you have not done so as yet, that you will go ahead and subscribe to our channel, as well as like and comment and stay engaged in the content that we push out week after week. Super grateful to be alive, super grateful to be here. Another week has ended. I can't believe we're like in mid-July.
Yeah. Once
insane.
You pass the 15th or past the 16th, mid-July.
And this mid-July, this Monday, we were able to celebrate, or Monday. We were able to celebrate Sir Jamie Calasar.
That's right. Whoop-de-doo.
Another year of being on this earth, and so we're grateful that God has allowed you to be here.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that too.
Yeah, you're appreciated and loved. And we're so glad that we get to celebrate. We get to be here for all the things that whatever it is that you do, we are here. And we're just so glad that we're able to join you in this journey, especially me.
Thank you. And I'm glad to be enjoyed. And it was a wonderful birthday. You know, I'm real low key about my birthdays. I'm not into celebrations and parties and all that stuff. But, you know, just hanging out with people that I like and that like me and being with my family, that's all I need.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that you were able to celebrate it the way you celebrated. Like, it was, for me, I felt like it was a perfect balance for you. It's been a while since I've seen you spend your birthdays in this way. And I'm so glad that you were open to do that.
Right.
I wonder, like, to our audience, like, you know, how do you usually celebrate your birthdays? Are you kind of low key? Are you wanting the fanfare? You know, like I'm interested to know what our followers do for birthdays.
Yeah. Please let us know, because then maybe we could get some ideas about what we should do.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I like to be celebrated, so
yes,
I enjoy a good birthday. Something. It doesn't have to be like high key. It could be just low key, but still some celebratory something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay if nobody knows it's my birthday. Like,
yeah, I know.
I was gonna go to work, but the only reason I took the day off was because I wanted to pick my clothes up from the tailor. That was it.
Course.
I was like, there was nothing else more important than that.
Wow. Okay. To each his own. Well, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the topic that we have tonight. Essentially, we know that in marriage, you get married, right? You check all the boxes in that you're engaged, you get married, you have kids, you live happily ever after, right?
You have your career.
Yes, you have your career, and you ride off into the sunset happily ever after. But that, unfortunately, does not happen. That has not been our story at all. And so tonight we're going to kind of talk through, highlight how to find each other when you both feel estranged from each other, or you feel as though life is moving so quickly that you're not truly able to really be able to kind of acknowledge or see the person that you said I do to.
Right.
And it's so easy, right? Like that thing can hit you, like you're thinking, yeah, life is great. Everything's great. I'm not worried about anything. And then all of a sudden you really start to feel that shift, that change in your relationship with your spouse. And so, and how it affects not only the two of you, but it extends to children. It extends to how you show up in the world. And so how important it is to see each other. So Jamie, I'd like for you to first talk to our audience about, you know, the moment you realize that we essentially lost each other or
Yeah.
lost that I don't know, connection that we had in the first part of our years of being married.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think like what you said, realize, because I feel like we were so busy, we didn't realize.
You feel so far away from me. Sorry.
I'm right here.
I know.
It's because
It feels like you're.
because last week we were sitting next to each other on the camera, but
But we're talking about connection. It feels like you're so far.
all right.
No. I don't want you to. I don't want you to
Okay.
move. I just needed to make mention of that.
I'm right here.
I know.
Don't worry. Don't fear. I'm right here.
Oh, thanks, hon.
But the point that I was making, thank you
Sorry.
for distracting
Sorry.
me.
I'm sorry.
Nevertheless, that was a good distraction. But I think that key word you said of realized, because sometimes, or our relationship, we were so busy taking care of the kids, going to work, me preaching, traveling. I don't even think that I knew that we weren't connecting. You know, like I thought, like as we were going through our daily regimens or our daily routine, then that's how we connect, because we would obviously talk to each other, say good morning, say hello, say goodbye, do whatever we need to do. But I didn't realize until we actually took the time to go on a vacation that it was like rediscovering. Like we didn't know what life looked like. We got so accustomed to life with all the additions
Yeah.
that that it was like a new discovery to enjoy life without those additions on vacation, right? To just turn off and turn towards each other.
And what's interesting too, I want to make sure that we put it out there as well. Like the level of connection, our signal wasn't as strong.
Yeah.
Like you think about a signal, a cell phone signal or whatnot. The signal exists. They're just sometimes in some areas, you know, depending on where there's a tower, that signal is not as strong. It's weak. And so I want to make sure that we make mention that we were intimate. Like we had a regular sex life, you know, like we were still very much attracted to each other. That was not lost. It's just that the frequency of that we operated on regularly was a bit frayed, was a bit off.
Yeah, was a bit off, and it was just we didn't get. I think when we took that cruise, what was that, 2018 or something like that,
Maybe.
or whatever year it was. That was like our first. That was our first vacation together since we got married.
Okay.
Since our honeymoon.
Okay. By ourselves.
Ourselves.
No, we went to Bermuda. We went to Jamaica. But you're saying after we had kids,
right?
That was the first time we vacationed.
Right.
You are right.
Right. So that was the first time we vacationed, and a lot happened between us having children and that honeymoon or whenever we took that last trip together. So, being able to turn off everything and being able to just sit there and look at each other and not have to worry about a certain responsibility helped tremendously in rediscovering each other, right? Like asking questions and not being rushed to put one of the kids down to sleep or prep for tomorrow or do this, because I felt like all those things that we were doing felt like it was connecting.
Yes, we were connecting. I do believe that we were connecting because we were conversing about the kids, about their schedules, about work, about those kinds of things. But when it came to connecting with each other on that, again, on that, what is that? On that wavelength or whatever, it was just not there. And we thought it was there. It's almost like pseudo, right? Like you kind of like are you're doing, you're being. But then you really, when it's time for you to be forced, because I feel like we forced each other to completely turn everything off and truly focus on each other.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the ways in how to find each other again, Sometimes it could be where it's like a natural thing where you insert those natural moments into your schedule, into your daily life to say, hey, once a week we're gonna have a meeting or date night or one of the doing those things, one of those things or all of those things to ensure that that connection stays connected,
Right.
in spite of all that's happening. So, to your point about being opening up ourselves enough, or let me be honest, I was the one that was always kind of afraid to travel without Caitlin or Amber. And so Jamie would always encourage, he would always like say, man, we need to take a vacation. We need to take a vacation. And because I was always in mommy mode, again, because I felt as though this role of being a mother was what made me be me, right? It felt like that role of a mother was my role, was my own, not my only role, but my main role. And because it was my main role, I felt as though everything else essentially will take a back burner, would become second, including Jamie, right? And so that's something that I realized that I was doing when we were on vacation.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because there was a point where I felt ignored, and not seen. It's weird. It's like there's a point where I felt ignored or not seen, but it was understandable because the kids are more important, because the career is more important. And so you can't complain about that because, how does it look saying like, yo, you give the kids more attention than me. They're very young. Obviously, they need it. So, sometimes we get caught up in so much of doing and so much responsibility that we forget about the responsibility we have to each other, right? And I think you could speak to this, I think on the other side of the spectrum that I was so like really, really engaged in pastoring, engaged in traveling and preaching
in school
that, I'm thinking that this is my responsibility of being a good husband.
That's good.
The more that I'm doing to be able to continue to provide, to continue to contribute to the pot because you were working too, to make sure that, being busy doing parenting stuff, fatherly stuff, manly stuff is my version or my way of showing that I love you and that I'm providing and that I'm seeing you.
That is so good. So good, so good, so good. Oh my gosh, all of this is so good because it is a serious thing. I feel as though like as a man, to your point, you said that you felt like you were doing the manly thing, right? Which is, I'm going to provide for my family. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing this and doing that. And for me, I felt sometimes left behind. I sometimes felt as though this is the responsibility that I have that doesn't require that I can own, and it doesn't require anything more than me just being a mom to our girls. And so I held that role I held onto that role so tightly because I felt as though because you were so busy doing all the things that this is all I had, right? Yes, I did have a career, but of course you know that I took time off to stay at home with them and stuff like that. But again, I think going through those motions, we didn't necessarily communicate what we're communicating now then, right? I don't think we had
I don't think we knew how to.
Right. We didn't have the awareness to be able to say, hey, I am, the reason why I don't want to go on family vacations because I feel as though, because you're so busy and because it feels as though this is my responsibility that I've taken on solely, that not to say that you weren't parenting with me in a tremendous way. I do feel as though there were moments where I knew that I could not, fathom leaving our girls with anyone, or I couldn't fathom taking that time. I know that we needed that time, but I couldn't quite. I did not know how to value. I didn't know where to put the value in some parts of in certain parts of our marriage when the girls came, because it was almost like I had to put as much value into the girls, and then you and I were kind of doing the parenting thing, but we're sometimes missing each other. We're missing moments to truly connect in real ways.
Right. And I think on my end, I didn't know, or I wasn't brave enough to say I miss you. Like, like I don't want it to, like, it's weird. Like, I don't want to feel like, my interpretations and teachings of being a man is solely rooted in being self-sufficient and being able to navigate through difficult situations without expressing how I truly feel or what I want. So, to the point where you're taking care of the girls, you're cooking, and I would try to help with taking care of the girls and try to help with cooking the meals, even though you are the master at that. And just thinking that, how to be mature enough and brave enough to really sit down and look at you in the eyes and say, yo, I miss you. And I don't even know if I had the words or how to express that, because it's like, how can I say I miss you, but we are in the same house, we sleep in the same bed, I drop you to work or you taking me to work. Like, how can you miss somebody that's right in front of you? But I think I didn't really know how to unpack my emotions and my feelings, and to even maybe double down on, no, Carlene, we have grandparents or we have vacation time. I'm going to book a vacation for us, or I'm going to book a trip for us, and just be like, yo, you got to go.
Yeah.
So I think all of those emotions were something I don't think we were at a mature state, or at least I was at a mature state to express, or didn't know how to express it.
Yes, I agree. I feel like we were both immature in terms of how we handled prioritizing each other and putting each other first. Because I do now understand that you can put so many things in front of your marriage. You could put your career, you could put children, you could put friends, you could put family members. But at the end of the day, the investment in your spouse is really truly where I know, for me, I feel like I'm so much more better able to serve my children, my family, my friends, my career when you and I are good.
Yeah, and I think the question that comes to my mind, and maybe for some couple that's watching us right now, is how do you do that without feeling guilty? Like, how do you put your spouse before your children, or before the career, or before those things? Not to say all the time, but because I think that there was a sense of a guilt if I'm trying to put myself first, or if I'm going and buy something for myself, or if I'm going and do this, that I think that my brain operated in a way where which could be viewed as selfish, right? That I'm doing these degrees, I'm doing these preaching engagements, I'm doing all that so that I can show my love through the paycheck, through being able to buy stuff, being able to allow our family to do things, right? But how do I guess the question is, how do I do what is most important? I think I got the answer in my head, but how do I put the family, or put our relationship first without feeling this sense of guilt that I'm pushing my other responsibilities to the back?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that I think that depending on the circumstances, everyone's response might be different. And I'm sure, to your point, you said that you just feel like you do have an answer. And I would love to know what that answer is.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm thinking about is that you can't be good to others if you're not good to yourself. And I think that what's important in a marriage is how do we be good to each other. And I think being good to each other is having those moments to connect, and that it's not a sense that it's not really that you're putting your family to the back or to the side. I think it's actually putting your family first when you put each other, because we are a part of the family.
Correct.
Like, I think sometimes I probably viewed it as the kids make us a family, but me and you are a family.
Yeah, we're a family
we're
first.
a family. So it's not putting them to the side or to the back. It's like putting our needs and our desires and our intimacy to making it a priority just as much as we make them a priority.
Correct.
So that we can be a connected unit, because if we're disconnected, then everything else falls apart.
Correct. And I was just about to say that, you know, you can say, okay, we're going to put the kids first. We're going to prioritize the children. And then what happens when we're lost?
Right.
What happens to those kids that we've decided to prioritize, right? How does that affect them? How does it affect them long term? How they see marriage, how they see, you know, how they see truly what a working marriage looks like. And so I think that is so important. And as you were talking, I was thinking about like how we so encourage self-care, right? How do you, as a mom or as a dad working, and you're trying to figure out like, oh my gosh, I would love to have some time to myself. And sometimes you feel guilty, right? You're like, oh my goodness, I could be doing so much. I could be doing so many other things in this moment or in this time, but I'm choosing right now to do something that will bring me joy.
Yeah.
I'm choosing to do something that will make me better, right? That will make me feel better so that I can show up for those people. I can show up in different spaces, even for myself. And I think it's important for us to encourage not only self-care, but couple care.
Yeah.
And couple care, I think, is the same way that we view self-care, prioritizing, making the time for each other, and not just saying, okay, I made time for you, and it just kind of be like, okay, we just have the time. No, but it has to be intentional time that truly matters to you, to the couple, and not for you. I know that you enjoy vacations, right? You enjoy going away. I enjoy it too, but before I didn't enjoy it because I couldn't imagine enjoying it without my kids there, right? And so understanding like the what it is that truly brings joy to each other, the same way self-care brings joy to you, it has to be that way.
Yeah.
And the intentionality of connecting with each other in deeper ways, not just in having sex or, I mean, if you connect in a deep way like that, go for it. But I know for me, I love connecting with Jamie on a spiritual and intellectual, right? Emotional. That is what really, truly draws me to Jamie. And so, before the sex, of course, which is also something that draws me to him. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think that is something to consider if you are struggling with feeling guilty, trying to prioritize everyone. But it's so important to prioritize each other.
Yeah, it's so important. And I think that you said something that brought that came to my attention as I was thinking about while you were talking, was as a couple, I think that we're also creating teaching moments. And I think that in your relationship, that whomever is watching, that we are how is your relationship empowering other relationships and teaching others? And I think by us prioritizing each other and prioritizing our marriage, we are teaching our kids how important it is to self-care and that mommy and daddy need this time together. We're teaching our friends and our family members like, yo, this is every year around this time they go away, or every year around this time they kind of disappear, because I think that that's part of the importance of creating boundaries, creating routines, and setting up your family to be the best that they can be. The setting the example or a standard or whatever it may be, so that others are learning how to really continue to have a successful marriage.
Yes, I agree. And I think it goes back to the conversation we were having last week, how important it is to have mentors or a mentor, a couple mentor, to be able to help you navigate those spaces that you may need a little bit of help with. And I think it's important to align yourself with people who can say, yo, I know that you are super busy trying to prioritize your job, or prioritize your whatever, your children or whatever, but you need to take that time to prioritize the person that you sleep in the same bed with.
Yeah.
Because if not paid attention to, you can easily drift apart from each other and not know it. And I know that a lot of people often say that, especially empty nesters, when they say they're going through that entire process of, having kids not be with them anymore, that they've kind of gone on to college and stuff like that, that they no longer recognize each other.
Right.
They're strangers in a home, and a lot of times they're like, we don't even know how we got here.
Yeah.
And I think even when you do say, okay, we're going to send the kids to grandma's house for a week, or whomever, that trusted person that you love and know, that you connect with each other. And usually in those moments when you're without kids or without that thing that you are prioritizing, you realize how distant, how estranged you are from each other. So instead of waiting for those moments, being intentional about those moments in the I guess the tension of life, and the tension of when things are busy, that you take those pauses, you take those moments to be able to recognize each other. You take those moments to be able to be intentional about creating opportunities, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's an hour, whether it's 24 hours, but you make sure that whatever length of time or duration of time it is, that it's intentional time with taking time for you and your spouse.
Absolutely. And we had that moment this week, right? That we were able to sit down, and we had a really good, meaningful conversation about our future, about our present, even looking back at our past and how God has brought us. And that could not have been done unless we prioritized each other.
Yes.
And then we were able to see each other and understand each other. And then, it builds a momentum. It builds a momentum, because I'm looking forward to having more conversations like that as well.
Me too.
And to your point about
my hands.
Okay, and to your point about a mentor couple, I think that is so important. And I think it's so important to find a couple that is older than you, and that I feel like a couple that is how do I describe it? I got the words in my brain. A couple that has been through what you're about to go through. So, and what I mean by that is, like, I don't know if you know who, there's a couple that I admire, that I look up to, right? I think both of us, we hang out with them. We have a few couples that we hang out with that have been married longer than us, that have older children than ours. And I just love to see how they are navigating their marriage, their connection to each other, and even with their kids who are college bound, who have graduated, because we're going to be at that place soon. So it's nice to be able to look towards something, and to see people who are already there living it,
Yeah.
to kind of like take cues from them and learn from them. So I think like that's so important when thinking about a mentor couple for you, you know, for your life or for your marriage, is what couple do you look up to? Which one do you admire? How they move and operate, and who has gone through what you're about to go through.
Yeah.
I think those are key components when talking about a mentor couple.
And I would add on to that, sometimes a mentor couple doesn't necessarily have to be older.
True.
Sometimes. I'm talking about the part of like, you can have an older couple who may be empty nesters, but in terms of prioritizing each other, they may not.
Right.
They may be still on on a
different. They just on a different wavelength.
Yeah. I just want to add that in there, but I do agree with you 1,000% that it is important for you to have that in your life to help you, and to also sharing some struggles and some kind of where you have the encouragement. Because, you know, a lot of times for us, like, we go through the premarital counseling and then we kind of just do life by ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that's just something that, you know, that we just putting in there. We're just making mention, but I do absolutely love what opening up myself to be able to remember that you are my priority, and being able to go on that cruise and just sharing in some beautiful moments with you, having beautiful conversation, and just reconnecting on such a deep level. And I think that truly was the pivot that we needed.
Yeah.
In our marriage, after, I think we were married for more than 7 years for sure.
Oh, for sure.
And so it's almost like that's what we needed. For you all, it may be something else. It may not be a cruise. It may be whatever it is that you both enjoy doing together.
And what you can afford.
What you can afford, that part. But I do know that it is truly the lifeline of your marriage when you have moments to be able to prioritize each other in the hustle and bustle of life.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody, everything pauses. Your phone has to recharge. Your car has to refuel. You have to go to sleep. And I think that creating moments for each other, husband and wife, is recharging.
Yes.
Refueling. Because you can get so busy, you run out of gas, or your battery dies, and that you can't be used anymore. So, you know, take time to recharge, take time to rest, take time to connect, because I kid you not, for our marriage, we needed it. We were at the 10-year mark when we took that cruise. We had moved from New York to Texas. We had 2 beautiful girls. They were at that age about 9 and 10, or 9 and 8, 2018. Yeah, they were 9 and 8 years old. And we had a lot of things that happened in those span of years, like big, major milestones, moving, changing churches, changing friends, meeting new people. And we just didn't have time to connect. And so we took that cruise, and shout out to the Jeans that we went. They encouraged us to go on that cruise with them. And it was a life-changing moment.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And so we hope that this episode has helped in terms of, if you kind of feel like your battery, your marital battery is is low,
Right.
or it's dead, and you're trying to figure out like how do we reconnect after our connection has been lost. And so we hope that this episode gave you some idea, some inclination, some hope. Honestly, that's what the word I'm looking for. Some hope as it relates to bringing, reconnecting, recharging, refueling your marriage for success. I also want to make sure that we insert our consistent connection with God together.
Yeah.
As the true link to which keeps us together. Without God in our marriage, I don't know if Jamie and I would be married still.
Correct.
And so even though we took the vacation, I do believe that even when we were not as connected as we should have been, that we still very much prayed together. We still very much had devotion together. So those things were still very much aligned. It was just the other things, right? But I do believe that connection that we had with God together caused us to be more patient, to be more open, to be more kind, to be more understanding, but also to be more courageous, to be more bold in asking for things that we know and believe that will truly bring that reconnection back. And so just want to make sure that we also lead with that God ultimately is the ultimate connector, reconnector in our marriage.
That's right. God is the glue.
Yes,
it holds all things together. Amen.
Amen. So thank you again, guys, for tuning in. We want you to go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, share this if you feel that there's another couple or couples that needed to hear this conversation. We just want to encourage you to go ahead and share it as many times as you'd like. We'd love it if you share it.
That's right. And also, just to throw that out there, once again, if you don't know, you can find our show on Apple Podcast, on Spotify Podcast. So you can listen to us while you're driving, exercising, or doing what you do. So we're trying to make it available on every platform possible.
So we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Please take time to rest, reset, and recharge, not only yourselves, but your marriage if you are married. All right, this is your girl, Carlene.
This is your boy, Jamie.
Peace.
Peace.